Hi, I'm Euge Valovirta, and on this one I'm gonna show you how to use Radial Engineering's Twin City Class A amp switcher to create really cool guitar tones, and especially kind of 80s John Sykes inspired tones by using Mesa Boogie's Mark V and Marshall's JZM 800 2203. First, shortly about the pedal. So what you can do with this: guitar in, 2 amps out, then you can switch if you use amp A or amp B or both simultaneously. There's a drag control, which is kind of like a buffer, because you know, when you split guitar signal into 2, you kind of lose a little bit something. So with this you can compensate. So I have dialed it a little bit more so that the amp gets, or both amps will get a similar signal what they would get if I would just plug straight into the amp. Very cool. Power adapter 9V DC, and then there's a polarity switch, because sometimes the amps could be out of phase or in phase, so then with this you can choose. So whatever sounds the best, the fullest, then that's what you're gonna use. And then a ground lift, because you know, 2 amps, usually there is a ground loop. So with this lifted, it lifts the ground off from the output B, like it says here. So it's really noiseless and works awesome. I have tried a little bit cheaper ones that don't have these possibilities, and they don't work. They work, you know, if you play into a, you know, like 2 input amp or plexi holder, then you can kind of choose which input you use. In that occasion it works, but if you're gonna use 2 amps and play them simultaneously, you need a high quality ABY box, and you know, Radial never fails. That's the pedal in short. Now I'm gonna connect this to the amps and give you some examples. Now the box is being connected, the power is on, and this signal input, this comes from my pedal board, and this out, it goes to the KHE amp switcher, and then I can choose whatever amp I use. And then this output B, this goes directly into the bad boy. And then the signal from Boogie goes to this Santrox React-IR reactive load, where I have a combination of 2 impulse responses. My signature IR Valovirta and Sound of God 2, both from Jens Bogren. The signal from Bad Boys, Marshall JZM 800's output, goes to this SIR reactive load, where I have my signature IR Valovirta. And then they both go, this is the out signal from the SIR, and the out signal from React-IR is behind. So they both go into the Steinberg audio interface. Now I'm connected. So the guitar I'm using is one of my signature ESPs with EMG 57 and 66 pickups. Then to the pedal board, but I'm not using anything on the pedal board at the moment. So the signal goes through the board to the Twin City, to the KHE, and from the KHE, which is A, to Boogie, and the output B I showed to 800. I'm using now channel 3 on the Mark IV mode. I've usually used the 2C Plus mode because it's really tight and fast, but it was quite close to the 800 actually, regarding the frequencies. So what I found out that the Mark IV works better with the 800, because the whole idea, at least to me, by using 2 amps simultaneously, I think about them like there will be 1 amp. So the other amp is providing something that the other is missing. So the Mark IV mode, really deep, you know, high gain, really kind of nice sound. Sounds like this. Cool. I'm pretty much bass dialed off here, and there's not much mids. So this just, you know, that sound you heard. And then the 800, let me switch to amp B. You hear, there's that 800, and especially the Bad Boy has that. I have turned pretty much the bass. It's like 3, but with 800 and especially with this one, the console don't matter that much. But I just wanted to have like mids and that high ching silver from this amp, and this is providing kind of the gain and the low end thump. So let me compare these two, just one chord. And then together. And now here it's a little bit, because there is same frequencies happening. So what I need to do, need to find the sweet spot between them where the sound is the best. And I do this. So I'm using the Softtubes Console 1 to mix. So now it's only the Boogie. Now it's both. You hear when the 800 comes in, it's kinda, it adds this and it's a little bit fuller sound. It's really close to this sound. Really cool sound, so best of both worlds. I think John Sykes used Mark III and JM800 on Whitesnake's 987. You can hear that there's this low end kind of, I mean, it's modest low end like what I have now, you know, and then the 800 ching in there. And this tone, I actually recorded a new solo track which is on pre-order today. It's called the Boogie Boy because of the Boogie and the Bad Boy. The link to pre-save and pre-order that in the description below. The single will be out on January 5th. So if you're watching this after January 5th, 2022, there's also a link where you can listen, buy, stream, download the song if you want. Just wanted to release that song because it's pretty cool. It's kind of John Sykes inspired. I've used it on some of my other videos as an intro song. Actually, the last video I did about Boogie 1960, on that one I used that song and I was like, man, this is so cool, so I'm gonna finish this. And then I was like, well, I'm gonna just put it out. Because why not? Because you've been asked many times about those intro songs. That are they available somewhere? And 10 of those songs are on my second solo album, Shooting from the Hip, which I released last year. And now, 2022, I will be releasing more songs, you know, like officially, and full songs with full arrangements and stuff. Okay, so that's that sound. As you can hear, let's try first the Boogie once more. Then the 800. That 800 bite, and then both. Which is pretty cool. And what I used also on the song, I used a little bit delay, pitch shifting and reverb to get an even more wider sound. Yeah, kind of John Sykes thing, especially in the 80s. There's always some chorusing or pitch shifting or reverb delay. It sounds like this. So. So no overdrives, anything, because yeah, the 800 doesn't have like that much gain without an overdrive, just enough this bite. And this has the gain and the low end. Listen what happens when I tweak the polarity switch and the ground lift. So now the ground lift is on, so the bad boy is getting a non-grounded electricity power. So it's completely silent. Check out. So there's a little bit noise, but it could be a lot worse. But I'm using Black Lion's Audio, this kind of power conditioner. So from this device, all my amps and what you see in here, this distributes the power, so it's really consistent and solid. But there was a small noise. But if you don't have a power conditioner or something similar, the ground noise can be huge, the ground loops. And then the polarity switch, that one you have to just experiment. Sometimes out of phase signal gives you a fuller signal, sometimes not. Now they are in phase. Now they are out of phase. So in my case, the best signal is when they are in phase, but that could, be other way around. So you just have to experiment with that. And now let's go to the screen and I actually show the track, how I mixed it, what I used it, because I doubled this sound. So I recorded these two simultaneously, panned them hard left, and then same stuff, few harmonies, panned hard right, and that creates a really big sound. So let's go to the screen now. Alright, so this is the session for that song, the Boogie Boy. It sounds like this. what we have here. So here's the guitar left boogie, guitar right boogie, guitar left bad boy, guitar right bad boy. So I recorded this left and this left bad boy simultaneously. So they sound like this. And as you can see here, I don't have that much of that Marshall blended in, but just enough so I can get that king, that Marshall chang, and the mid kind of Marshall mid in there. Because you know, when you mix things, you dial these in the full mix, and whatever works the best, then you know you go with that. The reason why this right guitar is quieter, because I actually had the master quite a lot cranked on that, just to get a little bit different tone. So I didn't dial it, you know, on the way in, so it was recorded louder. So I then just backed it up a little bit so that these two are equal level. As you hear, they're quite down there, but just enough. And you also hear that there's quite a lot of, well, a bit of delay and reverb and stuff. So what I have there is, it's a classic thing. So these 4 tracks, these are mono tracks, mono input tracks. And they go into this rhythm bus, which I have volume right programmed. So it goes out here, and then here it's, you know, it goes louder, it's a little bit quieter on the solo. But here on the rhythm bus, because this is a stereo channel, so all these 4 mono tracks, panned hard left and hard right, they go to this rhythm bus stereo track. And I have there Overload's GHU. I've used this on so many recordings, on my second solo album and many of my videos. So it's a stereo delay. It looks simple, but there's more going on. So this is a stereo delay. So the delay on the left is a little bit different than on the right. It creates this nice. And then after that, it's a pitch shift. And this looks like a, you know, your usual bass pitch shifter, but this is actually Eventide H3000, kind of the preset that Eddie Van Halen and many others used. This has been done. Michael Nielsen, great YouTube channel, Big Hairy Guitars, he has been, you know, incorporating these and you know, done these presets. So there's only a couple of, what you're basically doing with this, it's this one certain preset from Eventide's H3000, what Eddie Van Halen has used, you know, forever. And you can then tweak it a little bit. It's fantastic. And then it's, I don't know what reverb, but I have just a little bit of that after that. So if we listen to the rhythm guitar tracks, let's go like here, main riff there. When I, you know, dial this on and off, so you hear. It doesn't do much, but like you hear when I stop, there's a little bit delay there and a little bit pitch shifting, because it treats, because this is a stereo channel, so it treats the sides a little bit differently, because I have panned these hard left and hard right. So it creates this image that, yes, because it's 2 separate shakes, they are a little bit different, but this, you know, divides them even more and makes it just sound bigger and wider. And a little bit swirly. I mean, you could use chorus, whatnot, but this just worked really fine with that. So that's the thing. 4 guitar tracks, but only 2 takes. And yes, I could have played 4 takes to record one track with Boogie, one track with the Bad Boy, but in this case I wanted to have just like 2 takes because it's quite a lot of playing, so it's as tight as possible. Like I said, I treat these 2 guitar left Boogie, guitar right left Bad Boy like a 1 amp, 1 tone. They're just obviously because 2 amps on 2 tracks, but then I can just blend them in and maybe, you know, use more Boogie on one part. So the possibilities are really cool when you record 2 different sounds, 2 different amps simultaneously. For the leads, I used that's actually a Zakk Wylde amp, like it says here. That's the Jason Maynard Zakk Wylde over there, boosted with Bass SD1, so it sounds like this. Again, it's here, mono track in, and this bass is a stereo bass, so these behave like a stereo delay, stereo micro pitch, and stereo reverb. Really cool. That's the lead guitar sound. And then these melody guitars, these are from the 1985 800, so the little brother. Let's go to the end here and check out what I use. Again, mono tracks here, but these are panned left 65, right 65. And this is a Waves CLA Chrysalot Alch Epic. So there's a like throw delay, whatever that is. That's just a tiny bit of a difference between the sides. And then a little bit of plate reverb. So that's that. And then these guitars here in the verses. Again, this same combination. And I don't know if you paid attention, but I have them dialed a little bit differently. On the lead, there was more effect included, more delay, a little bit more pitch shifting, just to fine-tune the sounds a bit. So the approach to me, the idea to use 2 different amps, it's a little bit same like with bass, because as you can see here, I have 3 different bass tracks. It's the one single performance. So what I recorded is the DI sound, radial DI. Then from the DI it goes to the KHE and on my Tech 21 Jedi Lee, the preamp. And there's 2 outs, deep and drive. So let's listen to the bass and you hear that individually they don't sound that good, but together it makes the whole difference. So let's listen to the deep first. That's just like a clean Ampeg. So what I have going on, this is the deep from the Tech 21, this is drive, but I've cut it pretty much all the lows away, so it's just mid distortion. And then this, as you heard, this is just a pick attack. And that's a Soft Tubes Lemmy Murder 1 amp, and all bass off, just presence, mids, treble, and then I added a high pass filter, so there's nothing below 200 Hertz. So it's just to get that ding, clang. Oh, once more. This is way I do my bass sound, because I want the low end to be clean, and then the distortion in the mids, and then the attack, the clank. You know, Plexi works really well, this works really well. The same idea with the using 2 amps, so 2 different tones, the boogie tone and then Marshall, pretty much all the lows cut it off, so it's just like mids and highs, and the boogie provides the low end and the gain. So once more, let's listen to the guitars. Let's go from here. So that's the thing. And these are just my 3 effects here. Dimension D. This is Yamaha SPX90 Symphonic. And then the pitch shifter. And I can blend these the way I want, but I've only blended a little bit of that Dimension D to bass sound and a little bit to lead guitar. Let's actually listen to the lead guitars without the Dimension D, so you hear what that does. Not much, but in the big picture, it just widens the tone a little bit. This is, I use Dimension D a lot, and that's why it's here. So then I can just blend that into the tracks I want to blend. Or then I can blend the symphonic or pitch shift to, you know, whatever. That's that. Hopefully you found this video to be interesting and informative. And, you know, this is really cool way to blend 2 different tones. Like, you know, 5150 to 800 and whatever combination. But the idea, at least the way I see it, it doesn't make sense to blend 2 same amps, because like, why? 2 different amplifiers, and when they're together you can create really cool tones. And Marshall 800 is my all-time favorite amps, but I really like the Boogie also. And blending those 2 to get the best qualities, and you get a pretty cool and big sound. And then adding a little bit of chorusing and delay and reverb in the mix, it's just this huge sound. And I have to say, it's a bit similar than what John Sykes used on Whitesnake's 1987 album, one of my all-time favorite albums. Thanks for watching. We'll see you on the next one. Take care. Bye. And hey, yeah, remember to pre-save this song. It's pre-savable today, and it will come out on all major streaming services on January 5th of 2022. Bye.